Ladies and gentlemen, this month will not be ordinary. June 2025 is not here to maintain your comfort, it is here to challenge it. You may have walked into this month expecting stability, perhaps hoping for peace, for ease, for familiar rhythms. But life does not evolve through what is predictable. Life changes through what is uncomfortable, and this month is the bridge between the person you were and the person you are meant to become. Ladies and gentlemen, this moment in time, June 2025, is not meant to feel like any ordinary month. It is not here to lull you into comfort, nor to reassure you with predictability. Something within the fabric of this month calls for greater awareness. It speaks quietly, not to your ears, but to your spirit. There is a message in the air, and it says, "Awaken." Many may ignore this call, mistaking the rising tension in their hearts as stress or fatigue. But those who are sensitive to change, those who have trained themselves to observe without reacting, they will know this month is different. Not because the world outside has shifted visibly, but because something within them refuses to remain the same. Normalcy is often mistaken for peace, but peace is not born from repetition. It is born from conscious living. Most people drift through their days reacting rather than responding, surviving rather than awakening. June 2025 is the interruption of that unconscious drift. It is the gentle but firm hand that grabs your shoulder and says, "Look closer." In your thoughts, in your patterns, in the places you hide from yourself, the challenges that rise now are not punishments. They are invitations to clarity. The discomfort is not a setback. It is a sacred signal, one that shows you where the work must be done. This month is not about doing more. It is about becoming more aware of what you're doing and why. Every decision carries energy. Every thought shapes your direction. When you begin to notice how you move through the world, your life begins to shift. You are no longer living by momentum. You are living by intention. This is the energy of June, the return to intentional living. And this return is not smooth or easy. It demands honesty. It demands patience. Most of all, it demands the courage to walk alone when the crowd chooses comfort. Expect your old habits to resist. Expect your mind to argue. That is the nature of growth. The old identity doesn't leave quietly. It tests your sincerity. It asks, do you truly want to change, or do you just want temporary relief? If your answer is clear, then stay committed. Anchor yourself in daily discipline. Anchor yourself in silence. Anchor yourself in what is real, not what is easy. Because when June ends, you will either look back with pride, knowing you rose, or with regret, knowing you paused. But even then, the path remains open, so choose today, choose now. Let June 2025 be the month that breaks the illusion of normal and brings you face to face with what you were always meant to become. There comes a time when life no longer allows you to live on the surface. June 2025 is that time. It does not knock loudly, yet its presence is undeniable. It creeps into your awareness in moments of silence, in the early morning hours, in the stillness between distractions. It is not here to offer what is familiar. It is here to stir something deeper within you. When everything seems to move fast, this month asks you to slow down. When everyone else rushes outward, it demands you turn inward, because the greatest transformations never begin on the outside, they always begin in silence. This is the kind of silence that speaks. It shows you what you've ignored. It reveals what you've buried. In that stillness, you begin to see the small decisions you've made that created the life you're living now. And not all of it was chosen consciously. Much of it was inherited from society, from culture, from fear. June 2025 is the space to question it all. Is this life truly yours, or is it simply the result of unexamined choices? This is the month to pause and examine the direction, not the speed. It is the time to ask, where am I truly going? Because it is better to walk slowly toward truth than to run blindly in circles. Normal months pass quickly. You follow routines, you check tasks, you repeat yesterday, but this month carries a different frequency. It interrupts repetition. It wants you to break free from cycles that no longer serve you. It will feel uncomfortable, not because you are failing, but because you are growing. Growth is not neat. It is not always peaceful. Sometimes it looks like restlessness. Sometimes it feels like doubt. But within that doubt is wisdom. Within that restlessness is movement. The key is not to numb it or escape it. The key is to sit with it. Distractions will multiply now. The mind will offer many escape routes: scrolling, gossip, overthinking, even overworking. But these are illusions. They do not solve, they only delay. The deeper invitation of this time is to build a relationship with discomfort, to breathe through it, to allow it to teach you. Because when you no longer fear discomfort, you become powerful. You stop running from challenges and you begin walking toward mastery. June 2025 is not here to test your strength. It is here to show you that you've had it all along. Every challenge is a mirror. It reveals not your weakness, but your potential. Do not rush through this month. Do not label it as hard or strange. Instead, call it sacred. It is shaping something inside you that no one can see, yet everyone will feel in the months to come. If you treat this time with respect, it will reward you with transformation. Not by chance, but by your choice. June 2025 arrives not to follow the rhythm of your past, but to create a disruption necessary for your evolution. This is not a time to seek comfort in the patterns you've always known. Instead, it is a moment that calls for you to break the cycle of the ordinary. You may feel uneasy without understanding why. You may sense a weight on your shoulders that doesn't come from external burdens, but from the internal pressure to rise. This month is not asking you to be more. It is asking you to be real, and being real often requires letting go of everything that made you feel secure in false identities. There is a difference between change and transformation. Change can be temporary, reactive, even accidental. But transformation is intentional. It is rooted in self-awareness. It is uncomfortable, conscious, and permanent. This month does not offer surface-level changes. It calls you into the depths. It is in these depths where you meet the parts of yourself you've long ignored, the fears you've silenced, the dreams you've postponed, the habits you've excused. And it is here where you are given the rare opportunity to decide whether you want to continue surviving or begin truly living. You are being invited to look at your life not as a series of events, but as a reflection of your level of awareness. Where there is chaos, perhaps there has been neglect. Where there is stagnation, perhaps there has been avoidance. June doesn't come to punish, it comes to illuminate. It shows you what is misaligned so that you can bring it back into harmony. But this cannot happen without responsibility. You must own your reactions. You must observe your inner world with honesty. Not blame, not shame, just presence. Every experience this month is a teacher. Every emotion is a messenger. When you feel triggered, pause. When you feel resistant, investigate. This is not weakness. This is the beginning of wisdom. Too often, we run from what we feel instead of learning from it. We seek distraction instead of understanding. But Avoidance has a cost, and June will no longer allow you to ignore the price you've paid for staying the same. If you embrace this time with discipline, your mind will sharpen, your emotions will stabilize, and your sense of purpose will deepen. Not because life will suddenly become easy, but because you will no longer be at war with yourself. Inner conflict dissolves when clarity takes its place, and clarity is born through discipline, reflection, and stillness. The world may pull you in many directions, but you must return to your center. From this place, you will respond instead of react. From this place, you will grow. So let this month mark the beginning of something greater than normal. Let it be the chapter where you stopped repeating and started rewriting, not for anyone else, but for the version of you that's been waiting to emerge. In a world constantly pushing for speed, distraction, and achievement, June 2025 arrives with a different message. Slow down, tune in, and wake up. This is not just another month. It is a mirror held up to your life, inviting you to pause and ask yourself, am I truly living or merely existing? This month strips away the illusion of normal and urges you to confront the reality you've created, not out of judgment, but out of love, because something within you is ready to shift and it refuses to be silent any longer. There will be moments where everything feels heavy, not because you're failing, but because you're finally seeing clearly. You will begin to notice how much of your day is lived unconsciously, how many choices are based on habit rather than intention. This awareness may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is necessary. You cannot change what you do not see. And this month gives you the gift of sight if you are willing to look. You may be tempted to escape, to find relief in old distractions, or to convince yourself that this tension will pass. But June 2025 is not meant to pass unnoticed. It is here to wake you from a sleep you didn't realize you were in. Not the sleep of rest, but the sleep of routine, repetition, and disconnection. You are being asked to reconnect to your body, your breath, your values, and your vision. One of the greatest lessons this month will teach you is the power of discipline, not the rigid, punishing kind, but the quiet, self-respecting kind. Discipline is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters consistently, especially when it's inconvenient. In June, discipline becomes your anchor. While the world pulls at your attention, your discipline will return you to purpose. While your emotions fluctuate, your discipline will help you stay rooted. When your mind spirals into fear or doubt, discipline will remind you who you are becoming. Transformation is not loud. It does not always come with signs and applause. Often it comes in small choices, waking up earlier, saying no to what drains you, choosing silence over reaction, facing your emotions rather than numbing them. Each of these decisions, though quiet, reshapes you. By the end of June, those choices will have formed a new version of you, one not born from chance, but from conscious effort. You are not being called to be perfect. You are being called to be aware, to be present, to respond with clarity rather than repeat in confusion. June 2025 offers a sacred pause, a chance to shift not just what you do, but how you see yourself. If you honor it, this month will not only transform your habits but your identity. You will come to see that what once felt like pressure was simply potential, waiting to be released. There are certain periods in life that do not follow the script. June 2025 is one of them. It comes not as a continuation of the past, but as a deliberate interruption. The kind of moment that stops you, that urges you to pay closer attention, that no longer allows you to coast through life without questioning. This month demands your full presence, not because the world will fall apart without it, but because you will miss the opportunity to grow if you're not awake. What you used to call normal is no longer available, and that is not a loss. It is a gift. The human tendency is to resist change, especially when it comes disguised as discomfort. But discomfort is not always a warning. Sometimes it is an invitation. Pain, confusion, restlessness, these are not signs that something is wrong. They are signs that something is being revealed. June is pulling back the curtain, showing you the deeper layers of your life that were hidden by convenience, by distraction, by routine. You are being given the rare opportunity to examine your foundation. Is it built on truth or on assumption? Are your actions aligned with who you want to become? Or are they reactions to what you've been avoiding? This is a time to observe, not judge. The moment you become a witness to your own patterns, you become free. When you can sit in silence and notice the thoughts that try to pull you backward, you begin to reclaim your power. Power is not about control over others, it is about mastery over your inner world. And this month invites you to develop that mastery with humility and patience. You do not need to have all the answers right now. You do not need to rush your transformation. What you need is consistency. A few quiet minutes of reflection each day, a conscious breath before you speak, a decision to respond with awareness rather than emotion. These small acts create a ripple that reaches every part of your life. June is not a storm to survive. It is a cleansing. Let it wash away what no longer fits. You may feel tested by your relationships, your energy, your thoughts. These are not random tests, they are mirrors. What bothers you outside is often unresolved inside. What triggers you points to what needs healing. If you use this time wisely, these challenges will not break you. They will refine you. You will emerge from them clearer, lighter, more focused. June 2025 is not here to let you drift. It is here to make you deliberate. You are no longer being allowed to sleepwalk through your days. The path ahead requires vision, clarity, and courage. Not loud, dramatic courage, but the kind that quietly chooses growth over comfort again and again. And by doing so, you will come to see that what felt like disruption was actually divine alignment. When everything around you feels uncertain and nothing seems to follow its usual course, it is not always a sign of crisis. Sometimes it is the start of awakening. June 2025 is not a month to be labeled as normal, because its purpose is not to maintain the familiar. It is here to shake the ground beneath patterns that no longer serve you. It is a time that demands more from your awareness, more from your discipline, and most of all, more from your presence. Life is not asking you to keep going blindly. It is asking you to pause and see where you are, and whether that's truly where you want to be. Many people fear disruption. They want their days to run smoothly, their plans to unfold exactly as expected. But real growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in friction. It happens when you are thrown out of routine and forced to make conscious choices. June is offering you this sacred disruption. It may feel like a problem, but it's a path, the path to deeper clarity, the path to inner mastery. Everything that unfolds now carries a deeper meaning. The conversations you have, the challenges you face, the emotions that rise, all of them are messages. Your only task is to listen, not react, just observe, because what you observe, you can understand. And what you understand, you can change. This is not the time for surface-level living. This is the time to go inward to discover what is guiding your thoughts, your behaviors, and your direction. You might find that some of your routines no longer feel right. Some relationships might feel out of sync. Some ambitions may feel empty. This is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you're evolving. As you grow in awareness, what once felt normal begins to feel limiting. This friction is part of the process. Let it guide you, not discourage you. In this month, discipline becomes sacred. The ability to show up for yourself daily with presence, with clarity, and with intention becomes your superpower. Don't underestimate small steps, waking up early to breathe in silence, saying no to what drains your energy. Choosing meaningful actions over habitual distractions. These are not minor changes. They are foundations for transformation. June will not reward the one who avoids. It will reward the one who endures, not just the outer demands of life, but the inner demand for honesty. You cannot pretend your way through this time. You must be real with yourself. What do you truly want? What are you no longer willing to tolerate? These questions are not easy, but they are necessary. This is your season of refinement, not through chaos, but through conscious effort. If you lean into this month with awareness and strength, you won't just survive it, you'll be redefined by it. And when it ends, you'll know June 2025 wasn't normal because it wasn't meant to be. It was meant to change you. There are times in life when everything slows down just enough for you to hear what has always been speaking within. June 2025 is one of those times. It is not a month that will allow you to drift, to live on autopilot, or to hide behind distractions. This is a month that calls you into clarity, into honesty, and into responsibility for your own path. It strips away the illusion that things will change on their own and reminds you that transformation begins only when you begin. If you've been waiting for a sign, this month is the sign, but it won't scream. It will whisper, and only those who are listening will hear it. Your environment may not change, but the way you experience it will, because this month is not about the external. It's about the internal shift. That shift happens when you decide to stop blaming what's outside and start observing what's inside. Every reaction you have, every frustration you feel, every spark of doubt, these are opportunities to return to yourself. The world may offer chaos, but your inner work offers stillness. You can't control what comes at you, but you can train how you meet it. That training begins now. June will test your alignment. It will ask you, are your actions matching your words? Are your thoughts supporting your goals? Are your habits leading you toward the person you say you want to be? If not, this is the time to correct your course, not out of pressure, but out of self-respect. You owe it to yourself to live in integrity, not perfection, but honesty. When your inner and outer world begin to align, peace follows, not because everything becomes easy, but because you're no longer divided within. The discomfort you may feel this month is not punishment, it's purification. It's life helping you shed what is no longer necessary. Outdated beliefs, limiting stories, relationships rooted in fear, choices made from habit rather than intention. You're not losing anything essential, you're losing what holds you back, and in that space, something stronger is being built, one conscious decision at a time. Let June be your reminder that stillness is not stagnation. It is preparation. Growth doesn't always look like forward motion. Sometimes it looks like reflection. Sometimes it feels like confusion before clarity. Honor this process. Trust it, you do not have to rush. You only have to be present. When this month ends, don't ask yourself whether things were easy or hard. Ask yourself if you showed up fully. Ask yourself if you were willing to grow, even when it was uncomfortable. If the answer is yes, then know this. You did not just pass through June 2025. You allowed June 2025 to pass through asterisk you asterisk. And in doing so, you didn't just change your month, you changed your life.